Absolutely. Joining us today, we have Shani Struthers. She is author of the Paranormal Survey series.
The Psychic
Survey series, excuse me. And it's the first time we've had a author of the paranormal genre on. So Shani, welcome to Belfast 89.
Hi everyone, hi.
Good morning, Shani.
Hi Katrina. We speak again.
Indeed.
So tell us, Shani, how did you get into writing about the paranormal in particular?
Well, it's a long story, but to cut the long story short, I've always loved the paranormal. It's my preferred genre ever since a kid. It's one of those weird kids, you know. And I wanted to write in that genre, but I actually kick-started in romance. Wrote 3 romance novels, which I really loved writing, but it's not my first preference. So I like the ghost.
And there's quite a contrast there between starting off with the romance and moving into paranormal. Is there a bit of romance in your paranormal stuff?
There is a little bit, yeah. Not all of them. Well, there is a bit. There's a budding romance in the Psychic Surveys series. There's no romance in Eve. Jessamine is actually a paranormal romance.
Oh.
So that's the one that bridged the gap, if you like, between the romance and the paranormals. But no, I'm, romance is not going to be paramount in them. It's all about the ghosts and moving them towards the light, etc.
And your novels are based on true stories. Tell us a little bit about how you got your inspiration.
Oh, well, stories told to me by friends of friends, etc. Everybody's got a good ghost story, haven't they?
Absolutely.
And, people say, oh, yeah, well, I've had this experience, and they tell you what they've experienced, and all these things have gone into my head, my own experiences, of course. The spiritual world is never too far away from the material world, and sometimes the veil between them can be quite thin. So, yes, Highdown Hall, which is The Haunting of Highdown Hall, which is book 1 in the Psychic Survey series, that's based on a true story. The move to the house, she still haunts her house, even though she died back in the 1950s. She's actually based on a real-life movie star who I can't say who it is, but a friend of mine bought her house.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived there, and he was absolutely convinced she was still in it. All sorts of strange things were going on. Her bedroom, her boudoir, was kept as a shrine to her, and he could barely walk in it without feeling that he had to leave straight away or something bad was going to happen. He think, as far as I know, did clear up. So she was sent on her way, finally. So that's where the inspiration for Highdown Hall came from.
Of course, Ireland's the country of myths and legends, Shani, so you should come over here and write a story.
Oh, well, I know. Well, I'm actually starting a new series, which is based around the world's, a set of novellas based around the world's most haunted places. So I'm sure Ireland's got a few to offer me.
The first one's set in Venice, isn't it?
The first one's set in Venice, the Venetian. Yeah, Venice is apparently the world's most haunted city, and I've just recently been there, and do you know what? It's a strange place. I loved it, but it's a strange place.
All those little streets, the little alleyways,
yeah.
It's all quite close together.
It's eerie, especially at night, because it's empty. So much of it is empty, and you're just walking along, sort of, it's like a maze, you're in a labyrinth. Yeah. It's the strangest place. But the Venetian is actually set on an island in the Venetian lagoon called Poveglia, which is the world's most haunted island. And it's got an incredible history to it, because I like to mix fact and fiction in my books. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of fact, especially in books like Rise to Me, for instance. I actually talk about real-life occultists in that book, and their work and their influence on people.
I mean, we are so, I think, still today fascinated by the spiritual world and the paranormal, because I suppose we really don't have any more answers or any more knowledge or understanding beyond what we might have had 100, 200 years ago.
We don't. We don't. We're still, and yet it still impinges on the material world. As I say, so many people have experienced things that they can't explain, but why shouldn't there be a spiritual world? It makes sense. I mean, the material world is fantastical too, really, when you think about it.
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't there be? Not everything is explained by science.
So how do you do your research, Shani? Did you go to Venice to do research for this new series?
Well, I was going to Venice anyway, to be
Just on a nice holiday.
But when I got there, I found it so eerie, so spooky, and actually I started looking up history of in and around Venice, and it was fascinating. There's so many ghost stories attached to Venice and to this island, Poveglia. And I thought, I'm going to have to write a book here. This is going to have to be book 1 in my new series. And but I plan to do other. For instance, in the half term, I'm going to probably go up to Edinburgh, because I think book 2 is going to be set in and around the Reekeys in Edinburgh. Again, I've been there before actually, and again, such a strange place.
Well, Edinburgh is a spooky city too.
It does, yeah.
It is. There's so much. There's such, Scotland to Ireland, as you say. The world is my oyster.
Do you ever go on the if you go to a city, do you ever go on the ghost tours? Because of course there are tours.
Yeah.
There's certainly one here in Belfast.
Yeah, I have been. I've been. One of the best ones was in Savannah, which was a ghost in America. But I'm actually going on a ghost hunt on Saturday night in Brighton.
Oh!
Yes, I'm going to the old Brighton police cells, which are underneath the Brighton Town Hall.
Oh, fascinating.
So that might spawn a story, depending on what I find, what happens.
You're not spending the night there, are you, Shani?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, seriously?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So that sounds like fun.
I did one at Preston Manor as well, which had yielded massive results. So we'll see.
My goodness, that's a problem beyond the Call of Duty.
I know. Well, the things one does for one's art.
But it does sound like a fantastic experience, and one that, okay, it might be a wee bit spine tingling, but a lot of fun too.
Yeah, and you know what? My books are paranormal. They're not horror.
Yeah.
I don't write horror. I don't see the if a spirit is take on it, and that's what my books try to portray, and that is basically why is that spirit, which was once human, grounded, and the reason ultimately will be fear. They're frightened.
That's a very sympathetic way.
Yeah, I suppose it's exploring those issues as well of maybe unfinished business in one's life, and maybe things that they regret or haven't been able to finish or accomplish.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for instance, Cynthia Hart, she was struck down, who is the movie star, the fictional movie star in High Down Hall. She was struck down at the height of her career. I mean, how galling is that? But no, I mean, there are lots and lots of different reasons, and I think it's time somebody did treat the spiritual world sympathetically instead of gratuitously. I really do. And that's what I'm trying to do.
I suppose as well, exploring that aspect of, what the things about life that one, a spirit might stay here for, could be a great eye-opener for the rest of us about how we live the time that we have.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and make the most of it. Because this is a valid experience, I mean, there is a saying that we are spirits on a human journey, so this is just one phase of our journey, but it can be a great life if you want it to be.
Sure. We've asked a lot of the authors that have come in about the publishing industry and that world. If there was any tips or advice that you could give an aspiring author about, taking their piece of writing from, their manuscript to getting it published, what would that be?
Keep a sense of humour.
Yes.
Grow a thick skin. Not everyone's going to love what you're doing, and they can't. You cannot please everyone, so don't even try. Just do what you love. And really, if that's what you love doing, just keep at it. Just Also, I think the biggest tip I could give. Remember, it's a marathon. You're in a marathon. It's not a sprint. Some people get so impatient because their first, second, third or fourth book isn't selling as well as they hoped. But you know what? You build it up slowly. but surely.
I know. I always find it amazing when newspapers talk about writers being an overnight success, and then you look at their back catalogue and they've written 30 books.
Yeah, most overnight successes are 10 years in the making.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So there is absolutely... It may happen. I've seen it happen to several author friends. You know, your first book really takes off, really hits the mark, goes viral. And then they're so disappointed when their second book doesn't. Nothing is a guarantee of anything. Just build your readership up slowly and surely. Keep giving them what they want, but what you want to write as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you think the changes in the publishing industry, being able to self-publish a lot easier now, do you think they've opened the market up a wee bit better for writers and created more possibilities?
The gatekeepers have been removed, but there's pros and cons. Just if you are self-publishing, and I certainly intend to through a cooperative that I'm a part of, if you are self-publishing, you've still got to make sure the product you're taking to market is of the utmost. You know, it's been edited, it's been proofed, you've got a great cover, you've had test readers on it who've all sort of said, yes, it's good to go now. You've got to deliver a great product.
I suppose it sounds like you're putting your own work through the process that a publisher might put it through anyway.
Exactly.
Sometimes better.
The publishing world, just like the music industry, the publishing world is changing literally by the day. Mm-hmm. And my new series will be going through, although I am published, my new series will be going through my own label, so to speak.
I think sometimes if you self-publish as well, Shani, is there an aspect that it's your baby from beginning to end, and so you put even more into it?
No, I think every book is like that. I don't think you have favourites. You know, whether you self-publish or you're having it published, they're all your babies. And certainly, in my case, I've tried to make sure that they're of the highest standard when they go out. But it's a learning curve. You know, mistakes have been made. And will continue to be made, but you've just, you know, as you keep producing books, you get better and better at the entire process.
Mm-hmm. Because I suppose writing the book is just the beginning in a lot of respects.
It's just the beginning, absolutely. There is so much more to it now.
And The Haunting of Highdown Hall has over 200 reviews on Amazon, hasn't it?
Yeah. That's did very well. It's been a sort of a worldwide bestseller, that one, which was great, on Amazon. So now I'm very pleased with that one, and the others are doing well as well. So it's great. Just got to keep on keeping on.
And will you be writing more of the Psychic Surveys series as well as your new series?
Yeah, book 3 has just gone to the publisher, and so I'm awaiting edits, and that'll be for a spring release.
And what's that called?
Yeah, pardon?
What's the name of that book?
What's called the 44 Gilmore Street. So all the activity centres around this one house. A terraced house, tiny little terraced house. No, not you know, grand old Highdown Hall this time, but a tiny little terraced house in the centre of Brighton.
But ghosts don't discriminate, do they?
They don't care.
No, they don't care.
They don't care. They're just, you know, wrapped up in their own little world, really, and trying to make contact, trying to get help. Yeah.
Shani, where can people find your books?
They can find me on Amazon. They can find me on Kobo, Barnes and Noble, iTunes, bookshops. If you want the physical book, you can either order it off Amazon or go into your bookshop and they'll order it in for you.
Shani, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been lovely.
Yeah, it's been great to hear about your work, and all the best with your next offerings.
My next masterpiece. Thank you ever so much.
Take care now. A little bit more music for you now, Belfast 89. This is Gallagher and Lyle. Break Away.
Thank you.